For a while now, I've been having a strange issue. It started when I tried to play some Winx Club Flash games, only to realize the characters were nowhere to be found. After digging into this, I've come to realize that some phenomenon is causing characters to disappear in nostalgic games. I can only suspect someone is taking them and keeping them somewhere. But who? Maybe I should... Huh? Professor Funnybone, are you trying to wake up the whole neighborhood?
No, I'm looking at the moon. I'm admiring the beautiful summer sky.
But what's that, Professor? Oh no, look! The Anti-Luci Club has a secret castle in space! I bet they're the ones who took the game characters. We just have to reach it and find out. But how?
Yahoo!
Wait a minute. Mango Plumo? Well, I guess it's time for another review. Back when I first started my YouTube channel, I looked at an obscure game that meant a lot to me as a child. I never really saw anyone talk about it, and the game itself is nearly impossible to find nowadays. It was called Mango Plumo's Space Adventure. Made by Quebec-Amerique and part of Mango Plumo's Nature and Science series, these 3 games collectively won 6 awards and received praise from critics and fans alike, but still managed to fall into a severe case of obscurity as time went on. For how detailed they are, it's extremely hard to find substantial information on any of these. It doesn't help that Quebec-Amerique is actually a book company that just decided to make a couple games one day. Due to this, looking into the company won't get you a lot of information on them. Still, despite being liked by the critics that reviewed them, the Mango Plumo games weren't even that popular when they came out in the first 3 years of the 2000s. The series failed to leave an impact similar to other edutainment titles such as the ones by Jumpstart or the Learning Company. And let me be the first to tell you how much of an absolute tragedy that is. These games are so detailed and strikingly well made that it almost doesn't make any sense for them to be so unpopular. This game meant so much to me as a kid that it really hurt to see it become so forgotten. Because of this, I decided to talk about it in my very first YouTube video. I tried to make it the first in a series called Looking Back before I just decided to do videos like this all the time. Unfortunately, this was before I really knew anything about my channel direction and my review style hadn't been established yet, so the video isn't very good. While it's nice that I could start my channel with an obscure game that helped me become who I am today, I can't leave a game that means so much to me with an unsatisfactory review. As a result, while this is actually the second game in the series and I have yet to cover the first one, I have to redo it and give it the acknowledgement it deserves. The world needs to know just how good of a game Mango Plumo's Space Adventure is. As such, we're going to review it again. Everyone grab your trash cans because we're going back into space. That's a reference to the game, you'll get in just a moment here. So we start with a nostalgic opening of Mango flying into the title screen.
Hello, my name is Mango. Welcome to my wonderful world.
Technically, if we're going into space, we'll be outside your world. But moving on, we can select a trunk to start a new story. Then the game commences. A narrator explains that night has fallen on this little village as we're introduced to a family of birds. Like in the other Mango games, they sing a song for some reason.
Stars are bright, bright, bright. Hug me tight, tight, tight. Now it's time for me to say goodnight.
This game has a few musical numbers, but we'll talk about those later. And I always thought this kid was injured and bandaged up, but it's actually a headband, I think. Maybe it fell out of the tree before. That's the series prequel we don't know about. Anyway, this little red songbird is our protagonist, Mango Plumo. He sees his friend Professor Funnybone admiring the sky and goes to join him. However, as soon as he does, the moon fades away. And yes, everything has a face in this universe. A world where most inanimate objects are sentient. Doesn't that sound horrible? For everyone involved. But it turns out the evil wizard Hocus Pocus has stolen the stars and stopped the rotation of the planets. I'm not sure what his motivation could be for causing such a galaxy-wide catastrophe, but just look at his design. He's obviously as evil as it gets. Throughout the games, he just steals things for no good reason. Considering the fact that everything he steals has a face and personality, it could honestly be considered kidnapping. Stopping the rotation of the planets just seems unnecessary though. Benefits no one and hurts everyone. Hocus Pocus must be a politician. Anyway, Funnybone tells Mango that they have to go into space to save everything. We get to tag along too. Mango doesn't think he can fly high enough to get into space, so we have to build a rocket. Out of what, you ask? Well, a trash can covered in random household objects, of course. Yeah, this seems like an effective means of space travel. But really, you can make as wacky and inefficient of a rocket as you want to. If you're wondering how this monstrosity can possibly be capable of space travel, we actually get somewhat of an explanation. Sort of.
Hey, not so fast, my friends. To travel in space, you have to defy its laws. Cover millions and millions of kilometers.
But how will we do it?
Here is a yellow cosmic egg. You and your friend will need it to get around in space. But remember, during your travels, you absolutely must gather more of them.
I guess the cosmic eggs help us travel through space. Don't ask, I don't really understand it. We'll collect more as we go along, too. Our ultimate goal is to find 6 keys and enter Hocus Pocus's castle. They're scattered throughout the entire galaxy for some reason. Each key will lead to a cell that a constellation is imprisoned inside. So then we get a sequence where we fly into space. The animation is really nice, but it does stutter from time to time. You get used to it because you can't skip these sequences whenever you travel from one place to another. It's a little irritating, but nothing too troublesome. So after all that, we land on Mercury. Here, we can see the sun's rays have been extinguished and all the planets are in unideal conditions. Mango, how are we not dying horrible deaths on the surface of Mercury?
Egg.
Oh, right. We can click on the sun to help it, but if we look around Mercury, we can click on all sorts of little characters to see them do funny animations. As it so happens, every single one of these characters has a name and backstory. You can read about it in your adventure log, which keeps track of everything you click on. The attention to detail is incredible in this. And you have to click around because this is how you find keys and hidden items that you'll need throughout the game. Professor Funnybone will also give you facts about things, so the game really encourages you to learn by incorporating the knowledge in what you have to do to proceed. But once you decide to continue, Professor Funnybone will tell you that the only way to help the sun is to click on his book. He then gives us a lesson on the sun, accompanied by a cute animation sequence. I'm not really sure how this saves the sun, but hey, who am I to question the power of knowledge? I always found the animation to be really satisfying to look at, too. It made me actually pay attention to what was being said. It didn't really feel like information was being pounded into me. Not to mention, we get another egg after this, though I never really understood Mango's line here.
And now it has to move.
But I guess we need another egg because we're literally walking on the surface of Mercury. But the sun's back to normal, so we prevented a literal apocalypse from breaking out. Seriously, I don't think Hocus Pocus thought this through at all. And we can do a bit of exploring now, so watch this.
The sun can shine again! Yippee! Oh, I'm all dizzy. Oh, I'm all dizzy. Oh, I'm all dizzy.
Unfortunately, this is really easy to do by accident if you move the mouse too far to one side of the screen. I didn't remember it being that big of an issue back when I was a kid, so maybe it has something to do with newer technology. Either way, we already have a lot to look at, and we're only in the first zone of the game. We can watch the animations.
Uh-oh.
Or we can mess around with the features in our rocket. We can get a hint from Professor Funnybone that'll suggest where an item is, we can look at the map, or we can look inside our trunk. From here, we have additional options. The first is our adventure log, which like I said, keeps track of literally every step we take. It even has character descriptions. This confirms that Hocus Pocus does, in fact, hate the entire universe. It even keeps track of the code we'll need to unlock Hocus Pocus's key once we have the 6 dungeon keys. And I really have to mention that the music here is absolutely beautiful. Give it a listen. It's very sweet and nostalgia-inducing, but there's even more we can see here. We We can play the mini-games we'll encounter on our journey, or listen to Funny Bone's lectures on the solar system again. Or we can access this fun little manual. Strangely enough, I remember Mango referring to the ball as a balloon in my old version of this game. I guess they dubbed over it in future releases.
Records the story of your adventure. The ball lets you play the game of your choice.
Yeah, that even sounded like it was edited in. So if we look inside this fun little manual, we see a selection of experiments we can do in real life. It's amazing that the game took the time to include stuff like this. There's a lot to do in such an obscure edutainment game. Oh, this one's easy. We can do it with rocks and chalk. Let's try it out. Okay, we have all the rocks, so we just need to get the chalk and, where is it? Ugh, darn it, Susie, you ate all the chalk? Okay, let's try another one. Wait, this one needs alcohol? Yeah, kids, ask your parents about that one. I mean, this game was originally in French for what that's worth. But nah, it's actually asking for methylated spirits, aka denatured alcohol. That's a highly poisonous kind of alcohol used to fuel lab equipment and camping stoves. I wouldn't necessarily call it a common household item. I don't trust myself with that, so let's move on. Another feature we can check out is the music. That's right, our rocket has a radio. This egg-fueled trash can sure is advanced. Both songs you can play are original and sung by either Mango or Professor Funnybone.
Sing with Mango. Sing with me.
For an additional fact, you could put the game disc in a CD player and it would play these songs. Now that's cool. We'll hear Mango's song in the credits, but let's hear what Funnybone has to say.
It's Funnybone fun! I would like to show you planets that I know always will astound, spinning round and round. 9 of them in motion make a solar system, a carousel spinning round and round. Would you like to meet them? It will be a treat and a fine game to try for you and I won't teach a lesson, we'll just sing a song. It's easy as can be, and you will see it's lots of fun. Funnybone fun! Mercury is first, then Venus comes along. Third is Mother Earth, Red and Mars marches on. Now Jupiter, see him winking, dazzled by the glitter of Saturn's rings. Uranus begs our pardon, he's all askew. Neptune's breathing hard and turning blue. Pluto is resigned to being last in line. That's my little song, now you can sing along with me. Hee hee! It's Funnybone fun! It's easy. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter. Woohoo! Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Would you like to meet them? It will be a treat and a fine game to try for you and I won't teach a lesson, we'll just sing a song. It's easy as can be, and you will see it's lots of fun. Funnybone fun! Ha ha! Woo!
Remember when I said we'd have musical numbers? I wasn't lying. But wait, before we leave Mercury, there's one more thing we have to do. If you look around enough, you can find a game you can play. This first one is called Solar Pairs. Ignoring that awful pun, it's a matching game that slowly reveals the sun. We can even see Hocus Pocus trying to sleep here. So yeah, that's cool. Now let's head to the moon. Once we get there, Hocus Pocus appears and covers the Earth in storm clouds. So now it's time to save the Earth. But who needs to recycle when we have a planet-saving book on our hands? Funnybone should just use that to stop pollution. So then we get another educational sequence before being given another egg. Then the Earth is saved, so it's time to explore the moon. Oh hey, what are all those rabbit people doing over there? Nah, we don't find any Lunarians here, but we do have more to interact with. We even have a whack-a-mole styled game. These creatures make some goofy noises. But another place we can visit is Piero's Crater. As a kid, I always hated going there because Piero freaked me out for some reason.
Hello, Mango.
Hello, Piero.
I don't know, he just seemed off to me. He's a nice guy though. Glad we could settle our differences in adulthood. If you want to see the real scary aspect of this location, click on the orb.
I'll defeat you all!
My child self was so intimidated by that. So Piero's one of the first characters we can meet who has a missing item. Somehow he lost his quill pen somewhere in the entirety of the universe. I'm not really sure how you would manage that. I guess space travel is just a common thing here. Whoever's running the cosmic egg market must be making big bucks. The other character we can meet with a missing item is Tino, a big bird on Earth. Yeah, we have to go back to Earth to visit him. Boring. But at least we're in a planet lab outside of an observatory, so it kinda keeps with the space theme. And when you give someone their missing item, they tell you one of the planets and the secret code to unlock Hocus Pocus's key.
Look, I know humanity is doomed, and I have information that can help you save it, but I won't give it to you unless you find my missing box.
And while we're here, we can see the moon in a telescope. She's in danger, so we have to save her. In this sequence, we get to meet Funnybone's wife. How wholesome. This location also has a ton of amusing elements. And if we click on Tino's box, we get a game where we have to organize his stuff based on instructions he and Mango give.
Set the Walkman beside a prickly object.
Ah, back in the days where a Walkman would have been considered a common household item.
Set my trophy above an object that rings. Put my saucepan above my cactus.
Place the telephone in a round container.
So now let's go to Mars. It has a longer transition cutscene than the average planet for some reason. I'm not sure why we just take a whole trip around the galaxy before deciding to land on the easiest planet to travel to from Earth and the Moon. But here, we have to help the asteroid belt. Particularly Ceres, who is blinded by toilet paper. I mean, I can't exactly blame Hocus Pocus for thinking it looks like a giant turd, but we gotta fix it. So we listen to Professor Funnybone's next lecture. Like with Pluto, the game uses an older classification and refers to Ceres as an asteroid. They wouldn't be rebranded as dwarf planets until 2006. But for a side note, I love the way the asteroids are drawn. They look like some kind of potato chips. Never thought you could make asteroids look so edible. But I mean, scientists do want to mine asteroids for astronaut food, so maybe that's a good thing. Mango Plumo was ahead of the curve, giving people a craving for asteroids long before they needed it. And Mars is fun to explore. But, what are these things? Ah, the giant demons of Mars. Exactly what NASA doesn't want us to know about. And Mars doesn't have as many silly animations as the other areas, but a lot of them will lead to Funnybone telling you facts about the different probes we've sent here. Very educational.
This vehicle on wheels is no bigger than a toy. Under remote control from Earth, it sent back images and studied the soil and rocks of Mars. This probe carefully studied the surface of Mars and discovered that it had lakes and seas a long time ago, just like the ones on Earth.
Flip, flop, flop!
Okay, I'm bored. Let's go to Ceres. Things are different here because we aren't just trying to save one celestial body this time. We're trying to save all the planets. But Jupiter's the one that talks to us. He looks like he's about to let out a really bad sneeze. In the meantime, we can click on the other ones and see their comedic cries for help.
Save me!
Oh, please help me. Save me. I'm over here.
Help.
But we gotta listen to Funnybone and get the last cosmic egg. He talks about all the planets and even shows off how they're drawn in this. I honestly think they did Mars a little dirty though. Why'd they make it look like a crusty old man? But once all the planets are freed, we can get a feel for their personalities.
Ah, thanks to both of you. Whoopee! Hee-hee-hee!
Free at last! Thanks a lot.
Thank you, my dears.
Freedom at last.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friends.
I think Uranus is my favorite. I don't even know what they were going for with that depiction. I just think it's really silly. And while we're here, we can play this game where we're fishing in the asteroid belt. Doesn't that sound like something you've always wanted to do? You have to find the listed objects on the screen, then you use toilet plungers to grab them. Geez, what's with this game and using bathroom items in the asteroid belt? Maybe it's a French or Canadian joke that we over here can't understand. But what I find funny is that a lot of the items look similar to the ones you're trying to grab, so you really have to pay attention. Not too bad. And a fun location we can visit from Ceres is Mishka's space station. She's a Russian bear who calls you comrade all the time.
Well done, comrade.
She's getting sick of space food and specifically asks us to find a giant chocolate cake for her. This is one of my favorite locations too, both because of how many cool items there are to interact with and how much there is to learn about space travel. Here, you learn facts about astronaut suits, how trash needs to be brought back to Earth, the fact astronauts sleep standing up, the importance of exercising in space, recreational activities for astronauts, and aspects of their routines. We even learn how to dispose of bathroom waste.
In a space station, bathroom waste is evacuated by an air pumping system that whooshes it out like a vacuum cleaner.
Funnybone is teaching us the real lessons. Needless to say, this part of the game really made me want to live in a space station. And I don't know what these bubbles that come out of popcorn bags are supposed to be, but they always looked really appetizing to me. But as fun as it is to learn about how astronauts eat through tubes, you're probably wondering if there's a conflict we have to resolve here. So if we click on this picture/video thing of Mishka's family, we learn that Hocus Pocus has mixed up the seasons on Earth. While that happens to be the plot of the previous Mango Plumo game, Mango Plumo's Weather Adventure, it's relevant to space. So we learn all about how the sun affects different seasons on Earth to turn the weather back to normal. But that's not all. We even have a game we can play here. The devs must have really liked this location. Piero's crater wasn't nearly as detailed. So for this game, we have to organize different foods in the order of the planets that correlate with their size. Sometimes it doesn't accept my input even when I'm right, but it isn't that complicated. Then once you're finished, Mishka gives you an acronym to remember the planets by.
Mango visits everywhere. Mainly just seeing unusual new places.
Trust me, I played this game so much as a kid, I never even needed one of these. They hammered the planets into my head so much that I'll never forget them. And unfortunately, we have to change this acronym because Pluto's no longer considered a planet. So why don't we go ask for Pluto's input on the situation? Because that's where we're heading next. Like with Mars, we take a brief trip around space before reaching it. When I was younger, I never understood why we didn't visit any of the gas giants, but now I understand why that would be hard for us to do. I once did a class project where we had to design a species for another planet, and my group had to do Saturn. It was a little difficult, but fun to figure out how a creature would survive and function there.
Admire Uranus off in the distance, lying on its side.
Ah yes, this game gives us plenty of potential for Uranus jokes. So when we get to Pluto, we get some torment from Hocus Pocus. Sometimes he'll show up to torment you during gameplay as well.
The universe is mine!
I imagine that could be scary for some kids, but as we know, I was a super brave child who wasn't afraid of anything creepy. Anyway, the stars have lost their twinkle. Horsehead Nebula is asking for our help, so I guess Orion wasn't included in the constellations that got stolen. Pluto is also my favorite location because you have a good close view of the gas giants, who you can get fun facts about, as well as some of the funniest animations. And even though this came out in 2001, Funnybone mentions that scientists are debating whether Pluto is actually a planet or not.
Astronomers do not know for certain the true nature of the planet Pluto. It is so small and so far away. It could be an asteroid or a former moon of Neptune, knocked out of orbit by a collision. Some think that Pluto could even be a comet.
Really shows that was going on for a while before the declassification. And for a silly side story, listen to what Funnybone says about the sun.
Never look straight at the sun. Its rays are so strong that you could go blind.
I used to think he said you could go flying and found amusement at the thought of someone looking at the sun before being launched into the air. So we learn about the stars to make them twinkle again, and while we're here, we can play this game where we have to assemble constellations. It's alright, I suppose. Not my personal favorite, though. And hey, Tino, thanks for the trophy. You get those if you do good enough in the games. Geez, how many bonus details does this hyper-obscure 2000s game have? And while you're looking around Pluto, you might notice something that looks a little odd. See this little planet out here? Yeah, that's an original one called Infinitoy. It's the home of Zook, a character from another Quebec Amerique game, Zook Discovers the Seasons. Wow, they really liked making games about weather. And I'm not sure why they had to invent a whole new planet when they had numerous exoplanets they could have used, but I guess they wanted a tie-in to advertise an upcoming game of theirs. And see this thing? That's Hocus Pocus's key. We need the combination to open it. Like I mentioned before, we get one planet in the combination whenever we give someone an object they want. For example, Zook wants a new toy. He lives on a planet filled with them and is somehow getting bored with every single one.
Yay! A spinning top! Here's a clue for you. The third planet in the secret code is Uranus.
Very funny, Zook. Now tell us the code. And I think I like this planet a lot more than Earth, actually. Can we live here instead? This can be my house right here. And while we're here, we can listen to Zook tell us about the galaxy.
The universe is infinitely big. That means it has no beginning and no end.
Believe it or not, this opening sentence was world-changing for me. This was how I first learned about the universe's ever-expanding size. Not to mention, it taught me what infinitely means. I used to use that word so much just to sound smart. I guess Zook taught me more than most of my teachers ever did. Maybe I should play his game sometime. Even though you don't see him very much, he was my favorite character. He's a very colorful one, I can say that much. But while we're here, we can play Astropong. This is a surprisingly difficult version of the game Breakout. We control this probe and bounce a ball towards squares to turn them into different space things before they disappear. The moon ones are clever. Zook gives you encouragement the whole time, but Hocus Pocus laughs evilly to discourage you.
Come on, let's keep going.
And like I said, it's actually kinda hard. I can usually handle myself in Breakout games, but I kept dying in this one. Zook has really given us a challenge. But anyway, this is the last location we can visit, so all we have to do now is find the keys and the missing items. Unfortunately, it can be hard to remember what you have or haven't clicked on, so you can click the question mark for a hint. Sometimes Funny Bone will tell you if there's nothing left to be found where you are. In some cases, he might even tell you when you can find something. So once you found all 4 missing items, you can enter the planetary code to get Hocus Pocus's key. Then all you need to do is find Hocus Pocus's castle. I just have to say, if I was a wizard with universe-shattering power that had a castle in space, I wouldn't be hateful at all. This guy's ridiculous. And look how cool his castle is, too. I love how chunky his doors are. And for a convenient coincidence, he happens to be sleeping when we show up. We can mess around and see all the spooky stuff in his entry hall, or we can go to the dungeon and free the constellations. Wow, not even his statues care to warn him of intruders. Nobody likes this guy. So we use the keys to unlock each cell the respective constellations are trapped in. They're just piles of stars that rearrange themselves to form constellations. They have some interesting voices, too.
Thank you, my friend.
Hooray for freedom! Free at last.
Oh, thank you.
I knew I could count on you, my friends. Thanks a million, my friends.
Mango also pushes us to hurry as if we're being timed, but we actually aren't, so we can click around and see silly stuff like this gator who comes out of an acid pit. But we only see 6 constellations, so once we save them, we can get out of here. So then we fly off in our ship as Hocus Pocus swears revenge. We fly by all the planets we rescued before returning to Earth, then we look up at the moon and constellations as the game ends. And that's it. Now from a storytelling perspective, this ending isn't fantastic. It's not like we did anything to stop Hocus Pocus from doing this all over again, though in an earlier channel skit we did drop an anvil on him, but that's besides the point. It is just a children's game though, and there are far too many aspects of this universe that make us question science to worry about details like that anyway. So then the credits roll and we get an original song sung by Mango himself.
Something's wrong, something's wrong, something's going on. The planets, all their smiles are gone. Oh, what a cosmic mess, all heaven's in distress. We know who's to blame, Hocus Pocus strikes again.
And that does it for this game, thus concluding our fantastic voyage through the world of nostalgia. So, I think I speak for all of us when I say, why is this game so unpopular? Seriously, this just might be the greatest edutainment game I've ever played. I'm speaking as someone who grew up with this too. This single-handedly gave me an obsession with space and gave me a necessary boost when learning about it in school. With the exception of the game calling Pluto a planet, this is strikingly well aged. Kids could play it today and still learn a lot. Everything is presented in a way that's fun and enjoyable. You want to keep learning because you get to see all these cool characters doing silly things. It really sucks you into the universe and gives you a genuine desire to keep going. This game wasn't even made by game developers. It was made by a book company as just a fun little bonus activity. Yet there's a tremendous amount of detail put into this game that seems to have no particularly large ambitions. I used to play this so much every single day. It's so amusing to go through and you never seem to run out of things to do. This is a remarkable children's game, and I'm almost distraught by how unsuccessful it was. With edutainment having such a bad reputation and being filled with mediocrity, it's a shame that legitimately fantastic games like this are completely ignored. This did not deserve to fall into the realm of such extreme obscurity. This game is fun and engaging in every single way. I loved it when I was a kid, and I still love it as an adult. Even if the rest of the world disagrees, it made a significant impact on me, and I'm glad I got to grow up with it, even if it meant being only one of 10 people who ever did. But at the end of this deep, dark tunnel of obscurity, there is a silver lining. Ultimately, games like this are the exact reason my YouTube channel exists today. I made the deliberate decision to cover this game as my very first review because of the sheer impact it had on me, combined with the extreme obscurity that surrounds it. No matter how unknown something can be, that doesn't change the fact that it made a significant difference to someone. I like to think this channel was created as a means to give back to those obscure games that are scarcely talked about, but still meaningful in their own way. As time has gone by, this channel has undergone a lot of significant changes. Sometimes I cover less obscure games, and other times I cover things that aren't necessarily nostalgic to me. But once again, everyone out there has something that means a lot to them regardless of how popular it is. I'm more than happy to help shed light on those subjects. But at the same time, I'm always glad to go back and look at the games that I initially started this channel to cover. Mango Plumo meant a lot to me, and it's great that through this channel, its significance to me can truly be immortalized. I'm really happy I could cover it again and give it the attention it truly deserves. Mango Plumo's Space Adventure will always remain one of my favorite edutainment games, and one of the most important games that I've ever had the honor of playing. So if you'll excuse me, there's one last thing I have to do. I believe there's a reason we came all the way out here in space, so let's wrap this story up and move on. Let's break into this evil space castle and save the day. Just have to get through these ginormous thick doors. Wait, we don't have a key to get inside. Don't tell me we have to search the entire galaxy to find it. That would take way too long and... Wait, what's this? It seems to be a trading card of some kind? Well, looks like we'll have to explore its significance in an upcoming video. Guess I'll have to see you all next time when we dive further into this YouTube channel's lore. So for the time being, be sure to subscribe and like the video. Tune into my Twitch channel to see what exciting games I'm streaming. I usually stream around 8 p.m. CST on Fridays, Sundays, and Mondays, so I hope to see you all there. Follow me on my social media accounts and keep an eye out for our next installment. Always remember, no matter the obscurity, everything means something to someone. I'm here to give a voice to the obscure. So for now, thank you all for joining me. I will see you in the next memory.
Something's wrong, something's wrong, something's going on. The planets, all their smiles are gone. Oh, what a cosmic mess, all heaven's in distress. We know who's to blame, Hocus Pocus strikes again. high, stars up in the sky. Sail away, and people wonder why. Oh, what a cosmic mess, all heaven is in distress. We know who's to blame, hocus pocus strikes again. And the sun, looking sad and glum, has no light to shine on anyone. Oh, what a cosmic mess, all heaven's in distress. We know who's to blame, hocus pocus strikes again. Oh, what a cosmic mess, all heaven is in distress. We know who's to blame, hocus pocus strikes again. Something's wrong, something's going on. The comets, longing for some fun.